Listen, your business cannot survive if it doesn't grow. And it can't grow unless you get more customers. And you can't get more customers unless you sell. Let's be real. As small business owners, probably not many of us, if any of us, got into business to sell. Like, that's not why we showed up. We did not want to be that young lady in Bath and Body Works when we go in there, if ever, that's like, can I help you today? You want to try this? And spraying stuff in your face. Or that car salesman that sees you walking on the lot and pounces. That's not what we want it to be. But we got to sell. We've got to sell. And how do we get there? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle. And there is nobody better to tackle this than my buddy Dean. So Dean.
Awesome. Thanks, Atiba.
Let's talk about this, man. Like, I mean, do we need to be that person in the mall? Or, I know. We all want to be that person selling the foot scrub in the middle of the mall.
Chasing you down that little packet of stuff like, do you want to take this?
Right? But, I mean, is that what selling is in business?
In some environments, it's devolved to that, right? But no, obviously not, right? In a professional environment, we've got to change the way we think about selling. And I think with a lot of the folks I deal with, I know you talk to a lot of these people too, business owners, experts, they're brilliant in their area of business or whatever they're focused on. And they started their thing, right? They started their business. And then all of a sudden they realized, holy cow, like you said in the intro, right? Now they're the salesperson, they're the marketer, the ops person, the finance person. They're all of these things. But what's funny is the one thing that causes them to quake to their boots is sales more than anything else. Isn't that? It's funny how that's such a trap, a mental trap for so many people that actually, when I say sales, they run the other way. Literally, they physically back up when we talk about selling. And so why is that, right? I think that's really where we start is why is that? And I think it is because of the experiences that they've had on the buyer's side, whether it's the person in the mall or the used car salesman kind of, stereotype or any pushy person trying to convince you to do something that maybe you're not ready to do. And so we all assume that's what selling is, right? That's what selling is. And the reality is that if you take a moment and you think about your modern buyer, the people that we're selling and communicating with, they would react the same way you do. Like, I don't know, right? So we have to change the way we think about selling and what selling really is in a professional environment, and try and disregard all of this other sort of chase you down approaches.
But Dean, I need to make sales to make money so this business will survive. And, I mean, I don't mean to be like those other people, but I'm going to use this word. I'm desperate. I mean, is there a different way? Is there a different approach?
There is. And I get it, right? The desperation will always be transmitted to the person you're talking with. If there's something in the back of your mind, like, I have to get this thing closed, I have to generate this revenue, or, you know what, that will be communicated to your prospect. It just will. That's how we vibe, right? So one of the biggest and most powerful things that we can do in selling, and this is tough, is to disconnect from the outcome. Disconnect the outcome. So what we want as sellers, as business owners, as experts, is to get people to say, yes, let me give you money. Let me exchange value, right? Your services have a value, and I'm going to exchange it for a monetary value, right? That's the ultimate. But here's the thing. Not everybody are the right fit for you. For you. Even if they want to work with you, they may not be the right fit for you and your business. So that short-term gain often becomes a long-term burden.
Yeah.
Speaking from my personal experience, I've taken on those clients. I've been, all right, we need to bump the revenue this quarter. I need to take a couple of clients on that maybe fit outside of my ideal client profile. They're not quite, they want me to do a thing. I can do that thing, but is it in our core competency? No, but I've said yes. What happens?
Oh, it's a nightmare.
It's always bad, right? It's never a good outcome. And what it does is it actually takes away your ability to work with more of your ideal clients. So the desperation mentality very rarely pays off. It actually elongates the pain and suffering. So,
okay, so but let me ask you this: how do I know if have this desperate mentality? Because I don't feel like I do. I mean, I know I got to make the sale, but how do I know, like, that I'm desperate?
Well, I think certainly look at your cash flow, right? That's a good indicator. If you're not able to make payroll, that's tough, right? And that's a symptom of maybe other things going on in your business that need to be addressed, right? Not just a revenue thing, right? So many people will think about their cash flow and the P&L and they'll cut. So they're lean and mean, but you can't cut your way to profitability. You do have to drive profitable revenue into the business too. So is this balance? So there may be other things going on, but it's between your ears. Like if you go into an opportunity with a prospect and you really sit down and think about, what if this person isn't a fit?
Yeah.
How does that affect me mentally and financially in the business? And if you can be like, all right, I'm looking for fit and not finance first, right? I'm looking for fit first. Then it takes the pressure off of the win-loss. So it will change that. Yeah. But if you come into it with that desperation, the other thing that will happen most of the time is you'll just keep saying yes to regardless of what they want, and you'll probably offer a discount.
So let's talk about money for a moment. Since we're there, okay? Because I had this earlier this week with a potential client, okay? We're in a courtship process. And you have some owners, and one owner is saying, hey, we've got to create packages and charge more. And the other one is saying, maybe, because what if they don't need the package and they only need this piece or this piece? Then why sell a package?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And so how do you balance? So there are really two questions here. How do you balance in there understanding pricing in your sales process and also the morality? Because I think those are two things that people are fighting a lot, right? It's like, is what I'm selling worth what I'm selling it for? And is it what they actually need?
Yeah, great questions. I love them. And they are two separate but related topics, right? So let's talk about the price first, because I think that's where so many people get hung up, is price. And you said, how do I know I'm selling it for what it's worth? Worth to who? Right? Because it's not our job to define the value, let's say, of the transformation or the impact of the thing we do. It's our prospect's job to assign a value. It's our job to collaborate. It's our job to guide and collaborate and help the prospect define how they measure or perceive value for the thing that we're offering, the problem that we're solving. And oftentimes they can't do that on their own. So it's not our job to say it's worth 10 grand, right? If I'm working with a client and I'm helping them generate a net $1 million of increase in revenue in a 12-month period, $1 million, and let's assume that's profitable and it aligns with all their goals and all that fun stuff, and I charge 10 grand to do that, I've just devalued my services. I've devalued the $1 million. If anything else, their expectation is to pay far more for that big bump in revenue. So you have to understand the impact of that $1 million on the business. And that's part of the sales process. So back to the very first point here is like, why do we push back when we think we have to sell, when we're non-selling professionals? Is because we feel like we have to convince somebody to do something, right? Push them, give them a little bit of friction. And the truth is, it's just a series of conversations to come to a mutual agreement. That's all it is. But we have to be intentional about guiding that process. And part of the process is establishing current situation and the impacts of that situation and the impacts of doing nothing if you decide they don't want to change. We have to do that. We have to help them understand that. And then the future state, right? What are the outcomes they're expecting? What are the positive business impacts of that? That's all they care about. Eliminating the pain, getting to the gain. And we all know that pain is a far more powerful motivator than gain.
Yes.
The gap, the how, that's what we do, but we don't talk about that.
No.
They don't care about the how. They care about those 2 points in time And our job is to guide them through that process. So that's the pricing piece.
Yeah.
The packaging, you and I are both fans of understanding our buyer, defining our ideal client profile, understanding the buyer's journey. And so the best way to understand what they need and how we assemble those services is to talk to the people that are already buying our stuff. The people that are interested in buying our stuff. We don't ever create in a vacuum.
That's right.
Never do it. So it's very simple, right? I don't have true packages, but I have a standard approach that we mold based on a client's needs. And we may include or emphasize certain things and de-emphasize other things. But it's because it's a repeatable approach. For us, it's a scalable process. But I don't quite sell it as a package per se. But in other businesses, a package makes sense. I recently did a workshop for 25 professional coaches. They're all members of the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And all business coaches, professional coaches, career coaches, they all sell the same thing, right? Buy 10 sessions with me, buy 5 hours. Here's a return. They all do the same thing. And so the workshop was all about how do you deconstruct how you do what you do and package it, productize your expertise.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's different for everyone, but at the end of the day, what do your clients need? What are the things that they want? And then you build from there. You don't just take what they say verbatim, but it's a baseline.
Okay, so now we're in this process. We're talking with someone. Now we're getting to that magical time that people call the close. There are a lot of people who are great at the conversational, even some of the collaborative sides of selling, but this piece of the close becomes this like landmine of, oh my gosh, I'm going to blow myself up. So I'm going to ask you a very, very, very pointed question here, okay? Which is one I don't think most people ask. Should I, as the business owner, ask for the close, ask for the sale rather, or should my customer, my potential customer, ask me for the sale?
I love that question again. You got some good ones today, my friend. The sales conversation may be multiple conversations over a period of time. At the end of each of those conversations, you're going to confirm where we're at. You're going to confirm they have the information they need for that point in the process. You're going to confirm what the next step is. You're going to set the next meeting. Those are all closes. You're closing them all the time by getting that confirmation back. So when you get to the point, you've gone through scope, you've gone through deliverables, you've gone through price, you've gone through all of these things, it's a natural point in the conversation to literally just say, it doesn't feel like we're a fit. Or, when should we get started? That's it. That's it. There is no, back in the day when I went through sales training as a young salesman, I was trained on the sharp angle close and the alternative choice close and all the other generic closes, right? They were manipulative and they never really worked. It caused tension and friction. But if you've taken them through this journey, you're working with them and not pushing against them, it's easy at the point, and it could be at the end of the first call or the end of the 5th call. I have no problem saying to a prospect, I don't think we're a fit, and here's why. Do you agree? Or, when do we get started? Or they say, well, how does this work? When they lean in and ask questions about the how and the what, you've already got them. You've already got them. They've already bought, right? You don't have to keep selling them. Then it's a case of just answer those final questions. And when do you want to get started?
Yeah. I'll offer this too as an approach. So for us, in our second conversation with you, because it does take, in our system, it does take multiple. Not everybody's does. Not everybody needs to, depending on what you're selling, right? And who you're selling to, your customer. So in ours, it does take multiple meetings and times. In that second meeting, we start treating you like a customer. We start talking to you as if you are a customer, and we start doing work together. Almost to the point of making you feel like, I think I should be paying you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you should. Let's talk about that. Let's do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. That's a key piece of the collaborative selling process, right?
Yep.
Is to guide and educate and coach. And if you're a consultant, you're providing some kind of wisdom, then from the very first moment you talk to them, you treat them like a client. So they can experience what it's like to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they automatically gain value. And depending on the prospect and where they're at, and we'll talk about the type of lead, because that affects sometimes how we sort of start the conversation. But many times I'll say to somebody, my expectations are 3 expectations potentially coming out of this call. The first is we get to know each other. Maybe I can give you some advice and you can go on your merry way and be successful. Awesome. Second is maybe we'll discover what you really need and I'm not a fit and I can recommend you to somebody who can really, really help you. Or third is maybe we agree that, this is a fit and we can work together. All 3 of those are okay. Yeah. It's okay. And so they don't come into it thinking this guy is going to, consult me and push me and get, no, because I'm as picky about who I work with as you should be.
Yes.
And that really sets a different kind of tone.
Yes.
I love it. I think treat them like they're a client from day one, treat them like they're a valued human and company from day one, give them as much value as you can from day one. And most of the time they say, great, I need help with that.
Yes.
They just bought.
And then it is.
They bought.
They said yes.
Yep, exactly.
Right? She said yes.
So there is no this big build up in stuff and then you ask the hard closing question and they send you a check. No. That's just not how people buy. So be empathetic, right? Understand what it's like on their side. The other thing I would say is if your buyers have never bought professional video marketing content services, they don't know what to ask.
Right.
They don't know what the journey's going to look like. They have a sense of what they want the outcome to be. So we as experts are going to guide and coach and help them make a good decision.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, including now's not the right time.
Yeah. Or we're not a fit, or here's a thing you can go do yourself to start and then come back. Exactly.
All of the above.
Exactly. That's a collaborative process. And I think that's often overlooked. So the fear of selling is, I don't know how to close and I want to be pushy, and that's not selling. That's convincing. We shouldn't have to convince them of anything.
No.
Not directly.
Absolutely. So, Dean, as we land this sales plane and come to a close here, I'm sure there are people who are listening to us who are like, okay, I hear y'all. What you're saying makes sense, but I don't know how to go from A to B myself. Like, I know where I am today and I suck today and I need to be where y'all are. How can they reach you? How can you help them go from where they are to being a collaborative seller?
Yeah. So I'll give you 2 things. The first is, what do you do in your first meeting with a new client? Right? They've paid, they're a client, and you're going to start your assessment, evaluation, whatever it is. Take the core of that and sprinkle it through your sales conversations. Right?
Yes.
You're going to understand your client at a whole different level earlier, and they're going to get so much more value earlier. That's an easy transition from this pushy, discovery call, qualifying. I'm going to qualify the heck out.
Yeah.
Don't do any of that. Just take some of the things you do in your paid engagement and start doing them in your sales process. So that's number 1. I think the other thing is be empathetic. Right? You're working together to some kind of mutual agreement, and that doesn't mean they're always going to pay. Right? They're always going to buy. And if you come in with an empathetic approach, a truly sort of seek to understand, not to understand to sell, but just to understand and guide, it takes the pressure off. It totally takes the pressure off, and they feel the difference. So those are 2 things you can go do today in your sales process, and you'll actually have better outcomes, and it will feel better, and you won't have that, I'm a non-selling sales professional, but I got to push from it. Disconnect from the outcomes. Remember, the outcome isn't about generating revenue. So those are things you can go do today.
Now, say that one more time. The outcome,
Isn't just about generating revenue.
that's the key, y'all. Hold that thought. You see, when you can truly hold that thought in your mind and live that truth, things are going to change in your business. We're not telling you that out of theory. We're not telling you that out of guesswork. We're telling you that out of our years of experience of being in the place where, oh my gosh, I gotta, and what it produced, because those clients who are born in anxiety, stay in anxiety throughout your entire relationship with them. But those clients that are born in love, are born in this collaborative environment of, hey, let's figure out what's best for you, stay in that mode, because y'all know things go wrong. You get a client, sometimes things go wrong. You might mess up something. But when they know you have their best interest at heart, which you planted that seed in the very beginning, when things don't go right, they have so much more grace and understanding because they know you're both working to get to the same place.
Yeah, well said.
Listen, this wasn't a tactic at all. This is true strategy and principles of how you should be running your sales organization in your business. He's Dean. I'm Atiba. It was great to have you. We'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.